What's up, guys? It's Kevin and Steve, founders of Bombers and Sleeves, a clothing and lifestyle brand dedicated to artists, writers, musicians, anyone currently on a creative path, or anyone looking to start a creative journey of their own. Our goal with this company and our BombCast is to encourage you to win the internal war of creative pursuit. Now, what does that mean? Well, let's think about it. We sum it up in 3 words, and those 3 words are bomb your boundaries. Now, what does that mean? Well, what has more intense, focused, explosive energy than a bomb? Not that much fucking else. And so we use that as a metaphor to say that if you want your dreams to come through, if you want your creative vision to come through, you have to get intense, focused, and explosive. And so with this, we bring on guests that embody that bomb your boundaries mentality. And we, just try to share with you practical knowledge on how to get your creative journey off the ground. Maybe you're further along than others. Maybe you're just starting. But each guest here, shares integral life experience that can kind of move you along. And today's guest is no exception to that. So I'm really excited to get into this today. Going to hand it over to Steve to introduce the guest as always. And let's get into it.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? How's it going? First of all, it's great to be back in the Bomber Studio.
It's been a minute.
Yes, and I hope you guys have been enjoying the Rock and Pod interviews, and hopefully you're getting some stuff out of that. But Kevin and I were just talking. It's just nice to be back in here, and it's nice to deliver you our first guest back from Rock and Pod. And what can I say about our guest here? When I think of her, I think of like some Nashville hot chicken that's like battered with some country and soul, but peppered with that California rock and roll, man. And I've had the pleasure, yeah, you can use that. Now I've had the pleasure of working with this person quite a few times, man, and it's awesome. And I'll tell you why it's awesome. She knows who she is. She knows what she wants to say, and she's not afraid to say it. And that makes my job, I think, as a songwriter, a hell of a lot more easier and just fucking fun as hell. So it's always a pleasure to work with her. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Miss Sarah Ames.
Hey, that was a nice intro.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. Practiced a few times in the mirror.
Whoa, thank you. I like it. I've
That
never
was a
been
good surprise, man. Put some thought
compared
into
to battered hot chicken before, but I'll take it. I like it.
Yeah,
I love
you're probably
chicken.
like, where is he going with that one?
yeah, peppered with the California rock and roll. I like that. Well, Sarah, thank you so much for being here today. Like Steve said, it's great to get back into these long forums. Got to thank everyone out there for their patience with the shorter ones. Hopefully you got a little bit of nugget of value, but it's nice to be here today. So let's just start back from the beginning. What got you into music in the first place? Where are you from? How'd you get introduced to everything? It's this short bio.
Yeah. Well, I'm from the Bay Area in California, a small town called Orinda.
Familiar.
And familiar.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yep. No, so I was born in Southern California in Orange County, but I spent a lot of time Bay Area and then Los Angeles and all that stuff too.
Badass.
So
Okay.
that's awesome. Yeah.
So Orinda, also what we refer to as Borinda, because it was very boring and there was not much to do there. Small town vibes.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I grew up there, and I just have loved singing my whole life, really. I mean, it's just something that I've just simply enjoyed. And so, I have pictures of me at, 3 years old singing in a microphone with, monitors. 'Cause my dad was into music, and he would play guitar and write songs. And so he had some cool equipment in the garage and stuff where, it was amplified and you can hear your voice in a microphone. And I just love the way that sounded.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so,
That's
yeah,
fun. That's
yeah.
awesome.
So we would play and sing, and, and just coming home from school, I just would close my door and it was just like hours just with listening to songs and singing. I mean, I just love singing. And at the time, I never really listened to songs for their lyrics, to be honest. I really wasn't, it was the singing part of things that really struck me at first.
I was the same way.
Yeah.
I used to make up lyrics to the songs because it was the melody I was attracted to. And I never, we were young. We didn't really understand what they were saying anyway.
No.
But especially those old Motown melodies and stuff. Oh man.
Oh, I know.
I made up some fun ones on those.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. And but then I did I did find myself writing stuff when I was 8 or 9, and I still have the sheets of paper that say like signed here by Sarah Ames in case I'm famous, and it was like, you know,
That's what's up.
super young, like 8 or
Yeah.
9. But I could still recite some of the songs now, and they're so embarrassing. But then I would also change the lyrics to common songs that I knew too. So I was doing that. So I was always involved in that, and then but I was really shy to perform to people, so it was something that I really had to get over. And I started to get involved in musicals in junior high and high school, and I started taking voice lessons. And you know, I always had like natural singing ability per se, but I wasn't like perfect, or like I could definitely be better for sure.
Right.
And so I started taking lessons with this awesome voice coach who just changed everything for me. He worked with Adam Derwitz with Counting Crows, and has some amazing people under his belt that I can't even think of right now. His name was Raz Kennedy. And so I just started doing local singing competitions and would call into the radio and sing and win tickets to concerts and things like that. And I started playing guitar in high school. Didn't really take that seriously. And then it wasn't until I got to college that I took it seriously. And I went to USC in Southern California. I did
nice.
this popular music program where there was a small group of us, and it was super badass. We got to go there and just like look at it as a like a pure like learning the skills. And I just always did music because I enjoyed it. I didn't know how to read music or anything like that going into college, but I mean, I got my ass kicked in that sense. So, you know, I had to play drums there for 6 months, and I
Nice.
I was
Wow.
fucking terrible. Never again. I have no rhythm in that way. No.
Yo, I'm with you on that. I always tell him I don't know how he does it. Like I if it has some strings on it, I could probably make some music, but drums is a different animal, man.
Dude, drums are so hard. But yeah, the popular music program was badass, and
We're dropping bling, guys. We're dropping bling.
It's good. It's
dropped
good.
an earring.
It's heavy.
But yeah, it was awesome. And you know, we had cool speakers come in and talk to us, and you know, Beyonce's dad came in and told us cool stuff. And
No shit. What the hell? What did he say?
I mean, he was managing her for a
Okay.
while, so he just was talking about, you know, raising her and just kind of their work ethic.
Okay.
And I mean, it's just she's amazing. And yeah, I mean, Steve Miller Band came and talked. So I got to open for Steve Miller in
Nice.
the college years. So that was badass. But yeah, and then I dropped out after 2 years because I wanted to go do the damn thing myself and go sing country music in Nashville. And so here I am.
Nice.
That's my
All right.
story.
That's awesome. How many years ago was that when you dropped out?
8.
That was 8 years. Okay, sweet. So we've been here like pretty much the same amount of time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So when I like the Beyonce thing. What did you pick up specifically about like their work ethic that surprised you? Was there like, did you ever have a time where you're like, oh man, artists just kind of like living this little daydream and somehow like things happen? Was it surprising like how practical and regimented they were in any way?
You know, as I'm getting further and further into this career, I'm just realizing that the successful people and everybody that you look up to spends time working. It's by yourself in your bedroom like you did when you were 10 years old, that for some reason now we think as adults we don't need to fucking practice anymore.
Yeah,
Totally.
It's that discipline that sets the artists that you probably love and look up to from the rest. So, you know, with Beyonce and her dad, I think, you know, he would just talk about how, you know, they would run while singing, you know, because Beyonce wanted to develop the stamina of being able to dance and sing at the same time. And, you know, I wish I could remember everything that he said, because at this point that was, you know, going on 9 years ago or, you know, 10 years ago. But,
that's a long time.
yeah, but I just think I just remember that, you know, they worked hard, and it was practice. It was rehearsing. And, you know, if you watch that recent Beyonce documentary that she did, I mean, she is rehearsing her ass off every single day. And
Oh, yeah.
that's what it is.
I mean, that's Queen Bee, man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's crazy. I wanted to tap into, you did like music theater, is that right? You like musicals? Okay. What I love about that, and I kind of, in high school, I separated myself from that. Like, I'll do the choir
Yeah, I did
stuff.
choir too.
But in college, I signed up for lyric theater, which was you would perform scenes. Like, you wouldn't do a whole musical, but you would do scenes from musicals. And I thought as a performer that was one of the things that helped me the most. It's different when you're playing in a band or performing in front of people, like your own music, but when you're actually like out there becoming a character,
Yeah.
and performing something that's like supposed to create this either dramatic or comedic moment, like owning that makes you so, like, you carry that with you as you become an artist later, I think.
Totally.
Right?
Yeah, totally. And I enjoy acting a lot as well. And I enjoyed musical theater. I mean, I had a blast doing it. And, but I remember coming to this point of having to decide whether I kind of wanted to take the acting route, a musical theater route, or going and, doing just the pure artist, music thing. And I chose the pure artist music thing because for me personally, I felt more from that kind of music. I never would really turn on musical theater music and listen and sing along to it really. But at the time it was something that was fun. I do love acting and being characters. I was in drama and all that stuff.
Totally.
And it was just an opportunity at the time to get out and perform and, hone my craft. So
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Well, so did you choose Nashville because you like loved country music growing up, or do you like what made you pick Nashville?
Yeah, well, I always loved country music and listening to country music, and so I just knew that naturally that's just kind of what I gravitated towards singing wise, and I just knew that Nashville was the place that you would go and to be able to sing that and do it. I mean, I guess you can really do it anywhere, but I came and visited, and I just loved the feel of it here, and I just said, well, damn it, I'm gonna do it. And it's funny because I know
6-1 vibe.
I know
6-1 vibe.
that's right. And it's funny because I was I took school very seriously. I was valedictorian in my high school, and I was like really studious. So to like go to college for a couple of years, that's why I went to college, so that I could still remain in school while also pursuing this crazy artist dream and music dream. But then when leaving college was a huge deal for me because that was dropping out, and I was so studious, so it was definitely a risk for sure.
Okay, we'll definitely expand on that because that kind of sums up what we're all about here, right? You feel that creative pull, you're in like the straight and narrow path. You have to quote unquote bomb your boundaries of like thinking you have to continue as a studious student and then to go out. So kind of if you don't mind expanding on that whole process, that would be awesome. Yeah,
I mean, I just think that the thing that I told myself was school will always be there. Always. And I, in my head, and some may disagree, but I felt like there was a certain window that I had to really try to break myself as an artist. And I felt like it was now. And I felt like, you know what, I could be a 50-year-old woman going back to college if I wanted to. And that'll always be there. And you're missing out on the college experience. But I just didn't want to not forgive myself when I was, on my deathbed, and, it's like I never had the balls to go do what I wanted to do. Yep. And so it's like, because Yeah, no, man, you nailed it. And that was my biggest fear before I moved here, was I didn't want to be like, my 40s or 50s and turn around one day and say, well, you never gave it a shot, so that's on you, buddy. And so, it's a big thing. Was it hard to leave, like mom, dad, like everybody, like leaving California, or they were pretty like, nah, man, go do it? Were they pretty supportive? Yeah, my family was really supportive. I think there were a couple family members that were like, okay, you're going to go back soon, right? Like, are you sure? But my mom's always been a huge believer in me and supporter. And, and she was just like, if that's what you want to do, go do it. Because she knew that I would take care of myself, because I just had cared about school so much that I just wouldn't get myself in a bind. And if I really needed to go back to school, I would go back to school, Right. Yeah. And your grades are there to support like getting back in super easily, which is awesome. Will they take 30-year-old grades?
I think they do.
Probably. I
think they do. I hope they don't take my grades back.
Yeah, that ship sailed for me too.
But I was just talking to him the other day. I have nightmares about college. Like I didn't have a bad time, and I did okay. But I have nightmares about, like, I don't know if you do. Does anybody else like have those, like I have a presentation but I'm so underprepared, and like I still have these things. Why do we have those?
I don't know, man. I still have nightmares too. That, like, I did wind up graduating college, but I still have nightmares that I did not graduate, and my whole family's there, like, ready. But I've been, like, lying the whole time and haven't been going to class, so, like, graduation is not happening for me that day. And then I wake up and remember I did, but it was barely.
Those are called nightmares.
Yep, nightmares for sure.
Damn.
Well, no, that's awesome. I love that. So you drop out, you come to Nashville. What's that, like, first week to 2 weeks like in Nashville? Are you hitting the streets hard, like trying to network, make connections? Did you have connections like when you came out here? How'd that look?
So I moved here when I was 19. I had a couple small connections to here. The dean of my music program at USC actually lived in Nashville for 8 years and was kind of working in the music business and as like I think a producer or something like that. So he was here for a period of 8 years. So he had a few people he knew. So he hooked me up with one guy that actually wasn't living here anymore either, but knew some people. Cool. So that guy hooked me up. I remember this guy, Bobby Boyd, who wrote God Bless the Broken Road with Marcus Hummon. And
great song.
Yeah. And so I remember him driving me around, showing me around. And, we would listen to music, and he, kind of wanted to help out a little. So that was the person that I knew. And he let me sing on some demos when I first moved here. And so that was kind of cool. We wrote a time or two. So that was awesome. But other than that, it was really just what, I figured it out. I remember several days just kind of staying in my apartment, and my mom was like, Jesus, Sarah, like, gotta get out. You gotta go do something.
Yeah,
and and it's funny because when I moved here, I was like, I'm just going to come for the summer. That's what I thought. And then of course that summer ended, and then I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to stay and move here officially. But this summer I didn't have a car. So I would walk everywhere, and it was kind of before Uber. So I would take cabs to the grocery store and stuff like that.
Cabs? Sound like my wife.
That's what's up.
She's from Brooklyn.
I'm calling a cab.
Yeah. It was hilarious.
A yellow taxi.
It was a yellow taxi. Oh my God.
They're crazy drivers, by the way. Just get the Uber. I don't trust the
Isn't
taxi.
that fucking crazy to even think about taxis anymore? It's more antiquated than a fucking payphone at this point.
Yeah.
Man. It's bad. It's bad. They done. But
they done. Peace.
Yeah.
Move on down.
I know it. But after a couple days of hiding in my apartment, I went to the Bluebird Cafe. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go see a show by myself.
Perfect.
Typical Nashville.
Totes.
I went there, and of course I, met the sister of my now best friend, and and then I met my boyfriend who was playing there, and then I dated him for a few years. So it all, and then of course, then just typical Nashville, just going there, meeting people, and then he introduced me to his whole music circle, and so then it just kind of went from there.
Nice.
Yeah, it was
that's awesome.
Just stars change when you leave the apartment, man. They really do.
Just go to Bluebird enough, and then you may meet someone, and then I had the balls to go up to the writers, and I had business cards made at the time.
Oh yeah.
And I just handed them my business.
That.
Yeah, I just handed them my damn business cards, and was like, I just moved to town, and whatever. I have some demos. I recorded a few songs before I moved here of just covers, and it was just my voice. And at the time, I really thought that, if they hear my voice, then they're gonna want to work with me. And now, I mean, that's great. That's a good component, but it is kind of a lot more than that. There's a lot of great singers. There's, anyway.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's not all that it takes, and
Not at all.
But at the time, I was like, well, I'm, so I would give him my card, and, most of them didn't, hit me back or anything. And I would hit him up on Facebook like multiple times.
Yeah.
And you know what? From doing that, a couple of them did. And through them, I got introduced to a couple other people, and, they kind of were long-term relationships just from having the balls.
Yeah, so what's your take on the stalker follow-up? I feel like that's what gets a lot of people in trouble, is because they think twice, and they're like, oh, I don't want to bother anyone. I don't want to do that. But no, you keep going until you get an answer. I'd love to hear the take on it. How do you push that, how do you push that aside and say, I'm getting what I want?
Mm-hmm.
At the time, I didn't really have that etiquette per se, and I was a little naive to know that sometimes people don't respond. That is kind of the Nashville no.
Gotcha.
In some ways. But sometimes you can just say F it, and if you have the guts, you can try again, because at the same, you don't really have much to lose except, God, this girl's persistent. Oh, no, I don't want to write with you. You know? But sometimes they break through. Sometimes they just, you're not a priority, so they don't answer your email, and then you hit them up again, and then they're like, well, damn, I better get back to this girl.
Yeah.
So... you may get some eye rolls, but you may get some yeses.
Totally. But you know what you're doing. You're like a solid, like, quality person. I feel like people can, like, pick up on that. It's like, it's when you really are, like, kind of creepy and have nothing to offer, that it's like, all right, dude, like, you're just, this is not going anywhere.
That's weird. But I like what you said. If you have the guts,
no, I like what you said too.
If you have the guts, you'll do it. And I will say persistence, man. I've learned more oftentimes than not. You can call it the stalker thing, and I know you're saying
that was a joke.
No. But that is universally how kind of we all feel and view it.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's why we don't. That's why we're not persistent. We're not persistent
because it gets that stigma.
Like,
because persistence gets that stigma.
Yes, and you hear that Nashville no, or like, they didn't respond, so fuck me. No, dude, I like that. I like that you went out and just kept doing it. And I a lot of things that have come successful in my life, has been that persistence. When even though it seems embarrassing, it seems humiliating to fucking send that.
It's the worst. I know.
But
it's how you build momentum,
through, man. Yep. If it breaks through, it breaks through.
I mean, I'm still doing it now. I mean, I recently just reached out through DM on Instagram to some writers that I wanted to write with. And guess what? I literally because I reached out and I, just was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
Every single one got back to me, and I have rights lined up with all of them.
Boom.
Bingo.
And how many people won't do that? Because they think it's unprofessional, or I don't have the guy. Fuck, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. That's great.
Yeah, now, it doesn't always work that way.
No.
Right.
I mean, I did message someone yesterday to be real, and they didn't respond. It's fine. They saw it. It's fine. Okay. But you know what? Like, whatever. But I got other opportunities out of just reaching out I would have never gotten.
Yep.
No, totally. And it's because you believe in yourself. You have a solid product. You have something to bring to the table. Like, why not?
Right.
That in and of itself gives you, that's what I'm trying to get to. Like, what's your take on, like, just giving yourself permission in general? Like, did you ever struggle with that growing up? Like, it doesn't sound like you were valedictorian. I had a shit ton of trouble trying to come out of my shell and, like, give myself permission to just be who I am. I feel like, so this is for other people listening that might have that kind of stigma. What's your take on, like, giving yourself permission to just do that, to be aggressive in the pursuit of what you want?
I just think you have to listen to your gut again of, like, okay, maybe I've hit this person up 2 or 3 times, like, maybe this isn't the right road, but you have to at least try and trust yourself. And it's like, man, if you're at a point where, like, man, I think they would have gotten back to me by now, they probably would have gotten back to you by now. And maybe that's a door that's closed, but you can't not try. You have to try. Everything that I've gotten so far in Nashville in my career is because I've tried. The most, I guess, beneficial and best relationships that I've made are because I tried, and because I just reached out to this publisher. Hey, I have these songs I'm really excited about. I want you to hear it. Okay, Sarah, come on and let's listen. Because I did that, I got offered a deal because of doing that. That would have never happened.
Yeah.
And sometimes we think, and I'm still guilty of this. Oh, well, if this person would work with me, then, I wouldn't have to try this hard anymore. Like, it's all going to be made. And, like, yeah, that person can help. But a lot of the best things and the biggest things all stem from you. Yeah. All stems from, and even writers with, publishing deals, they are, I've talked to #1 writers. They are still having to hustle and be ninjas.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
Totally. Just like an unsigned writer.
Yeah.
Anybody, you have to like
The game doesn't
always
change,
do
man.
that.
And what do you mean by being a ninja? Is that finding like always looking for a different way to like make things work, like being stealthy, being creative on your approach to different things? Is that what you're talking
Well,
about?
when I say be a ninja, put yourself in positions where you can meet the people that you want to work with, or socialize with those people, get to know them, and then be a ninja in that, having the guts to, again, this is just, episode should just be called Guts. But having the guts to then, even being a signed writer, say, hey, I want to write with you. Like, let's do it. It's not relying on other people, finding ways to get where you want.
No, 100%. And I didn't mean to like be presumptuous earlier that just because you like got stellar grades means you have like zero issue like giving yourself permission to like breaking out and all that stuff.
No.
I was just like, I'm just trying to think of like,
All we were trying to say is you're the smartest person in the room.
No,
So,
I couldn't. No, I learned it enough and then I forgot it, so I couldn't recite any of it too.
No, I feel you. That's awesome.
I think sometimes people too struggle like in the music industry, like whether you're an artist or a writer, like a lot of songwriters think like their songs are just, look, my songs are fucking awesome, and a lot of writers think I'm fucking great, and you want people to approach you. So when you hear no on something, like you can either like diminish your spirit and you're like, fuck this, or you can keep trying and say just because we all know the music industry is an opinion based industry. It really is. Some people that have passed on a few things, as later on those things became the highest thing, and they were like, well, I missed the boat on that one. So it's taking those no's and still having the guts to find that yes, it really is. And so I think that's badass about you. I think that's badass that you are persistent, and then you will reach out to people, because that's something that's missing, I think, with a lot of the work ethic with people here in Nashville.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are thinking, well, they just don't get it, so fuck off. Like, well, then if they don't get it, then find someone who does, or go do something about it. Don't just complain about it. So.
Yeah, or you're not showing face the way you think you might be. Like, you got to get out there and explain it a different way. Yeah, like you said, be a ninja, scale the building, climb up the ropes, whatever ninjas do the backflips, man.
Exactly. The thing about no's, though, is, of course, there's those stories that, not everybody in the music industry is right. And there's been, someone's told no 1,000 times, and then they get the yes from the one person, and then their song goes huge and all that. So there's that side of things where, truthfully, the truth is that nobody in the industry actually knows anything. So that's like a whole other discussion. But there's sometimes these people are just retarded. Oops, don't say that. Don't say that. Sometimes these people...
Hey, you can say that now. Because you carried the R minus the 7. Yeah, you're fine. You're
okay. I don't know. Some of these people are just idiots.
Yes.
Mentally deficient.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Whoops.
Turd-faced jagaloons.
We're not cutting any of that out. This is what this show's about.
No.
We let it out there.
But
it's
then
fun.
There's sometimes there is a reason... You're not afraid of that?
No, we're just not a part of the whatever, the PC culture.
Oops.
No.
But sometimes people just miss the boat on you, and they're just idiots. But then sometimes there's a reason why people are saying no, and you need to go back and work harder and write better songs.
Totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's a reason you need to write better songs. It's not living up to where it needs to be. You blow them away.
No, 100%.
Got to go blow them away.
Yeah, you're just not working hard enough. You might think you are.
Oh, yeah.
Until you figure out like what a real great song looks like, or what real hard work looks like, and then that's a whole different
Jesus
thing.
Christ. Dude, when I fucking moved here at 22, and I was going to publishing meetings, and they were telling me like, hey, these are great, but like, I don't know what I would do with it. I remember leaving and calling my roommate at the time, was my cousin Dave, and I'd be like, they don't know what they're talking about. Like, they're idiots and stuff. No, man. Live here a little bit. Learn really what a good song is.
Exactly.
And then I listened back to that stuff that I pitched and that I thought was the almighty. And I'm like, no, man, they were kind of fucking right. They were kind of right a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But
and that's the biggest thing. I mean, I think I would advise for somebody moving to anywhere, I guess, whether it's here or LA. I really jumped into publishing meetings kind of quickly. And was playing, what I thought was great songs. But I didn't give enough time to really learn and dissect what a great song was and really get my ability there to be able to write a great song. And that's still something that I'm chasing. I think we're all chasing that in our own way. But and then, then once you have those meetings, they kind of have a set opinion of you. And there's ways to reverse it and come back around. If you're cool, they'll probably give you another meeting down the line. But it's kind of hard once you've kind of not impressed them at first to go back in and try to re-impress them years later. It's doable. It's totally doable. But it's just a little harder to get in there when they kind of have a preconceived, thought about you. So I would just definitely say that. Really give yourself some time to really just listen and absorb and study and listen to your favorite songs. Why are they your favorite songs? How are they ending these verses? What are they doing with this chorus? How are they doing this hook? Where does the title appear? Oh, it's not at the end of the chorus. Oh, cool. I don't know. Just dissect it and figure out what it is that you like.
Right.
And try to do it too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's not trying to necessarily mimic it.
No.
But it's using, there are formulas.
The craft.
Right. Is what it is. The craziest thing I think about the music industry, especially in songwriting or finding these great songs that we're all chasing is, look, we all know how, you tapped in it earlier, like the music industry, like no one really knows what's good anymore. Like, no one really knows until it happens. Then that's good. Yeah. Then that's the good. Yeah. But the one thing I think that I always try to push on people is, and this was something that was relayed to me through Ryan Adams, is you said, sometimes it's as easy as you just got to mean it. So if you can take some of those formulas and take some of that craft and take some of that structure and just mean it.
Oh, totally.
Like that will open up some fucking like hearts and eyes like immediately.
It's a mix of telling the truth and then just knowing the way to word it right and the word it that means something and then I
think you do a very good job at that. Kevin and I were talking about before you came in. I mean, the song Stoned. It's a ballsy song to put out.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. Not many artists would put it out.
No, well, I think it's awesome that so you can take it literally, like you're stoned, like marijuana stoned, or like you metaphorically where like people are throwing stones at you that you're not going to church on Sunday.
Correct.
However, they're the hypocrites.
Correct.
6 days out of the week.
Correct.
Whereas you are being authentic and truly a good person the whole time.
Correct.
Which is awesome. Yeah. Which is
great concept.
Super cool.
Great concept.
And an awesome thing to throw out in the Bible Belt where it runs rampant. I'm not afraid to say that. I mean, it's kept me away from it for a lot of the years. Just seeing that hypocrisy from the outside. So
yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
It was a cool song, and I had that hook stone on a Sunday, and I kind of came up with this melody and stuff because I was stoned on a Sunday, and
standard.
And I came up kind of with that, and but the idea of the song, it really stems from an honest place for me. I mean, I had a 10-year-old kid, I was visiting in Arkansas, and I was sitting there with him, and he looked at me and was like, "Have you accepted the Lord Jesus Christ as your Savior?" And I was like, "No, I haven't. Like, I just don't really know. To be honest with you, I don't know. I don't know if he's real or not." And he goes, "Well, you're going to hell." And I was like, "Man, you really think?" And he goes, "Oh, yeah." And I said, "I just feel like, when I go, it's going to be this thing where I meet him and he's like, well, hell yeah, Sarah, I'm real. Like, come on. Like, what the hell? Like, yes, bitch. Like, come on."
Yeah.
And then we would like fist pump, and then I'd be like, "Holy shit. Whoa.
The fuck you think I am?"
Yeah. What? And then he'd be like, "Come on in. You were a good human being." And so, yeah, that's what I feel. And
God,
so,
that's what I feel too.
Yeah. And
I dig that.
That's what the song is about, but then the kid was meanwhile saying racial slurs and songs about racial things that I would have would never leave my mouth. And yet in my head, I'm like, you are, that's kind of hell-worthy, young man.
For sure.
Yeah.
Is this just a kid having a conversation with you, or
Yeah. He was just through a mutual friend, and he was having a conversation with me, and later that evening sang a bunch of racial stuff and songs and with race lyrics, and I just kind of couldn't believe it. And so and so that was,
if a 10-year-old kid looked me in the eyes and told me I was going to hell, I'd be like, what the fuck is that?
I'd be like, look, bro,
hurts.
You're already in it. Good luck with life. See ya.
I just think that he just has, he has like what they say is like the fear of God in him, and that he's like, well, if I accept Jesus, like, then I'm going to be okay. And, maybe he's right. I don't know. But, and I remember asking him, I was like, what about like people that do like Hinduism or like Buddhism? He goes, oh, they're going to hell too. Like, not Jesus Christ their Savior, going to hell. So anyway, all that being said,
no, totally.
That's how that's the truth of the song. I don't go I haven't said that on Instagram. I haven't really spoken that to many people, just because I don't know how it would be received. But
sure, you got to read between the lines.
It's a universal message. Whether people can take it a bunch of different ways, but the universal message is that you can't really judge somebody for sinning differently than you. We're all probably sinning to somebody else, someone else's eyes, and so
totally.
None of us are perfect, and so let's just do the best we can and be ourselves.
So exactly, that's where the concept of unity comes in. Nobody fucking has a clue, man. So let's just all be cool to each other and start there, man.
I love it.
That's the whole like Bob Marley "Love Is My Religion" thing, man. It's like that resonates big time.
Yeah.
The video does a fantastic job of capturing that within like 30 seconds. I watched it like 3 or 4 times, but like all you have to do is just like watch it like 20 seconds and you get it when you meet up with the metaphorical or the guy that portrays Jesus at the gas station. I'm like, dude, this is awesome. So like, I was like, just before we met each other for the first time tonight, I could just watch that video and be like, dude, I get this girl, and she would probably get me if we met. Well, we met briefly a night before this, but now to like actually sit down and talk with you, so just want to compliment you on that, because I think that's going to gain you fans faster than anything, is because within that 20 seconds you can. You're very relatable, which is great.
Thank you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we it was a quickly shot video. We had to put it together pretty quickly, and it was a long day. It was like a 14-hour day. So hot out. Oh my gosh. But
hot in Nashville. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Where was that filmed?
So hot. So some of it was filmed downtown Jolton, where I live in small town Jolton, and
nice,
so it's filmed there, and then some of it was actually filmed up at my house and inside my house. And those trailers were just placed on my lawn, and it went great, and CMT's been great, and I've been playing it now for the last month.
CMT is rolling this thing 3-4 times a day. Is that correct?
Yeah, 3 times a day.
Amazing.
And so that's really cool. And, I've gotten a couple messages of people just like, hey, like woke up to your video on my television and I love it. And I looked up your music. And I mean, that just makes me so happy, because I think that's what being in this artist discovery program with CMT is all about, is people discovering it. And that's really cool to just see some people discovering it.
Hell yeah.
No, that's awesome. And so is your hope with the song to like spread that message of inclusivity and open-mindedness and stuff like that?
Totally. I mean, I think it hits on this kind of hypocritical thing in society that we all kind of look at. I have people, even though you can interpret the word stoned the kind of the way you want. I have people who are like, my husband's the pastor, and I love this song, and I feel like I'm getting stoned at church every day. These women are critiquing me for this and this, but they're really doing this, and so it's cool. And then there's the stoners that are like, yeah, man, don't hate on the weed, man, I'm getting stoned on a Sunday, so what, I'm a good person, so it's cool. Like it's like everyone's and I really believe in this song, and I really want people to hear it, and there's still so many more people to hear it, and I want to try to get it out there the best I can. So I'm doing all I can right now.
It's amazing. Awesome. And I'm so, Kevin and I are both, I mean, and I think a lot of people are just very happy that you release something like that. And being in the music industry, I know that playing it safe is, those rules. And when I first heard that song, when I first watched the video, I was like, damn, girl, fuck yeah. Because I was so proud of you. Like, you're not playing it safe, man.
Thanks.
Like you're telling it how it is, and I think that just more artists need to be like that. I think we all know how the music industry it's tough business, but man, like when you're an artist, then like you can play it safe as long as you want, and that's fine, and you can be very successful at that. But to see you and to see people like kind of going against the grain a little bit and talking about that real shit, like that is just what people, I mean, personally for me, that's what I grab to, man.
Yeah.
That's why like I grew up on like punk rock and rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's just real and raw and tell me like it is.
That's my favorite kind of music too. And I actually thought that I was going to get a lot more flack from it than I did. But I literally only have had so far one person just speak out and be like, I can't listen to this. This is terrible. But that I was really shocked. Only one person so far. The majority, it has literally brought new fans and new people into my world. It's been great.
Well,
That
means
is
you're doing
awesome.
something right.
Yeah.
No, that's very
It's
cool.
been good. I was really nervous to put it out, but
I'm glad you did though.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
good.
yeah.
I think that'll do.
We
I
need
think
more of that, man.
Yeah, I think that taking that step forward will be good. Yeah, I went and saw Bad Religion at Cannery Ballroom just a couple nights ago, and yeah, they do the same thing. They've been speaking out on that religious hypocrisy thing since the 80s. They're pretty extreme with the logo. It's got like the crucifix crossed out,
gosh.
but they're not satanic, right? They're just
Right.
trying to say it's almost like satirical in the sense that they're like wagging their finger at it, like no, bad religion,
Yeah.
like
That's funny.
like good inclusivity, right? So like
Right.
people, it's shocking to the point where you're like, oh my god, like you literally put a cross through the cross, but it's like it got you to pay attention, and now you see that they're actually like, the singer Greg Graffin has a political science degree. He's actually Dr. Graffin. These are very smart, intellectual humans that are actually thinking about things way deeper than just that logo that kind of shocks you, but. It's been a pervasive message is where I'm getting at, and so it's cool to see it like bundled up in different ways. And nothing against organized religion in any way. I think getting closer to a God or a higher power in any way, even if it's just believing in the power of love, is super powerful.
Totally.
So it's all positive at the end of the day. So
Hell yeah.
if it
Totally.
triggers your anxiety and fear, maybe look into that a little bit.
Hell
Why is that?
yeah.
Yeah, maybe so.
So we are a clothing and lifestyle brand.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about your style real quick. Because I totally dig your style. For all our listeners out there, man, if you've never seen Sarah Ames, dude, she's got great style.
Oh no.
Well, I remember when we first started writing together. I even I think it was Danielle we started writing with Danielle, and like I remember telling her like, man, she's got this you have this rock and roll thing about you, like, and it's not even on your clothes. It's just like your spirit. It's like this
thank
essence.
you.
Like it's very, you can breathe it in, right?
Steve, you're so nice. Thank you.
No, I'm just saying how it is. But like what goes into your style? Like what kind of like were you all, first of all, for all of our listeners, she's wearing a bald eagle shirt, like one of those like
Oh, it's like the cool like 70s Harley.
it's this cool
style
70s
stuff,
it's,
right?
it's amazing. Something I could never pull off, and not many people could. But she makes it look like it's fucking gown. Like you kill it, man.
Thank you.
What goes into your style? What's your thought process on it?
Honestly, that was a whole thing for a while, because there's that with the eagle, and then there's like a wolf shirt
The
and
wolf,
that
yeah.
same kind of thing,
Yeah.
where it's like big, and then with the nature setting, and then there's like small wolf heads in the background or like
Yep.
small eagles.
Yeah.
What do you know the history on like that whole pattern or like design?
I don't. I just like it.
I like it too.
I just don't like super feminine
Yeah.
clothes. I mean, I do, but I don't. I like to mix, edgier pieces, I guess, with, some feminine pieces. Some, like one of my friends, I always get her opinion on stuff. She's like, Sarah, you got to start wearing some more like body hugging things. Like, come on. Like, okay.
No.
But, wow, lost another
Dropping
earring
bling,
there.
guys,
God,
dropping
these
bling.
earrings are no good. I actually, I love cutting the sleeves off of my shirts, and I'll cut the armpit holes like way down so that I can wear like a cool like bralette underneath, and it's fun. You can wear like black or leopard or something like that.
Yeah.
And, I'm also kind of lately experimenting with like mixing patterns and stuff. I'm finding that stuff you wouldn't expect actually looks great together and in photos and things like that. I love dark denim. I love rips. I distress a lot of my shirts, so I'll go to Goodwill or something like that sometimes and find old shirts that have cool designs, and we'll just cut it and distress it and stuff like that. There's a local vintage shop in town called Starstruck Vintage. I'm sure you guys have heard of them in Nashville, and they're cool because the owners inspired me a lot of like shirt distressing and things like that, and so I kind of copy that and do that with my own shirts, I find, and it's awesome. And yeah, I mean, I like vintage pieces, and I like big rings. I love turquoise and kind of some Native American jewelry and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
She likes I was going to comment on the Native American stuff because your shoes have kind of like a Navajo kind of like
man,
vibe to
I'm
it.
such a fan of Matisse.
Shoes
and boots, and I love it because it's so cool when you read their company description. I really feel like that's really me. They're always like, country was rock and roll, and I just read it and I'm just like, damn, like this is cool. I feel like who I am.
Totally.
So I totally wear Matisse shoes a lot too. They're really cool.
Matisse.
Yeah.
I gotta get into this game,
dude.
I gotta get in the Matisse game,
dude. I don't think they have dude shoes, but if you want to try some women's shoes, they got you covered.
Hey, we're living in that time.
It's rad.
It's funny. I was gonna say, because I know you like big rings and stuff. Her earrings literally weigh probably about 10 to 12 pounds. And that's why they keep falling on the ground. But no, that's awesome. No, it's cool. It's funny because so we live close to 12 South area.
Right.
And so, I always tell my wife when we're walking, I've picked up, since starting this clothing and lifestyle brand, like fashion and clothes is, I know it's like taking over my life a little bit. So I'm always watching people and I'm always noticing what people are wearing. The funny thing is, it's like when you walk in the 12th South, and this is districts or streets everywhere in America, I don't know. There's a certain fashion that's down there where it's you every single girl. It's you pass one girl, you're passing 1,000.
Oh gosh.
Okay,
and I feel like I could tell you what they're wearing.
Yeah, well, of course, you already know. It's the big hats with the pilgrim hats.
Yes, I was gonna say that.
I don't know who said that was. I don't know who said that was cool. I don't know who said that was cool. And then it has to be with either the cowboy boots and some kind of I don't know. But anyways, if I saw you passing the street down there, I'd be like,
finally someone
gets it. Or it's just something different.
Monotony,
Life is way too short to, I think, just try to be a part of everything and try to just look like that. I don't know, man. I'm just I'm so over it already.
Yeah,
right?
and I mean it's a challenge. I'm really trying to kind of up my shit and my style and try to think okay, for shows, how am I gonna up this? So I'm actually really just trying to work on it and kind of wrap my brain around it and figure out how I can kind of up my style. But I
think what you're doing is great, though.
Thank
you.
you.
Me too.
You don't have to go out there in a pageant gown. You can just go out in a
No.
cut-off shirt with a bald eagle. You
Totally.
wear that and just be like, okay, shit, that's who I am. I'm all about that
exactly.
shit.
Yeah. Do you ride motorcycles? You have a motorcycle kind of vibe to you.
Thanks. No, I don't. My
Vespa.
Vespa.
Yes, strictly Vespa.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
under 30.
No.
Actually Huffy with an outboard engine.
No, I love being on motorcycles. I love it. But my boyfriend had one, and that was some of my most fondest memories and freest memories with us too. We're on his motorcycle, but he got rid of it, and so he sold it, and now literally a couple of days ago I was like, are we gonna come on, get another one, please? And he just looked at me for the first time. He's like, Sarah, they're so dangerous. I'm not gonna do it. I can't do it. And I was like, man. He's like, I was talking to so and so, and their friend died, and this person lost a leg, and I was just like, gosh, I guess you're right. But it's just, there's something so amazing about being on a motorcycle to me.
It's true. It reminds me of my favorite Dustin Hoffman quote from the movie Confidence, where he goes, sometimes style gets you killed. And but I know that story very well. My parents were in a very bad motorcycle accident.
I feel like we need to write that song, Steve.
Oh, dude, yeah, for sure.
Cool. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But they are dangerous and they look great,
Yeah.
and as long as you're wearing a helmet, that's great. But no, man, I get where he's coming from.
Yeah.
I've always wanted one, always always. And I don't think I'll ever get one though. I don't know.
I know, because then I'm like, I wouldn't forgive myself if I was begging him to get one, and then he gets one, and then something happens.
Exactly.
So now I'm kind of like, man,
Get the sedan, 4-door, power locks.
damn it.
Keep it safe.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat. I don't ride either, but I've always wanted to. Did dirt bikes when I was like younger, and I guess yeah, that's like the closest to it, but nothing else. So do you play with a band now? Do you have your own band? Or
Yeah. I do. I have, a set of players that I will typically play with. But I also have a bunch of subs that I kind of will trade in because right now I'm at a place where I don't have a band on salary where they're just Sarah Ames.
Right.
So, I'll use great players. And sometimes they can't, and I can just pull another one that's played with me before, and so it's not a huge effort on their end to not have to like learn a whole set. They kind of know the songs.
Yep.
So yeah, I play with a band.
Sweet.
That's awesome. About living in Nashville too. I mean, if you ever needed a band, they're all at your disposal.
Yeah,
and
they're everywhere.
All great. They're all great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, so we'd like to ask one question to all of our guests that we have, and this is basically the slogan of our brand. And the slogan of our brand is Bomb Your Boundaries. So I would like to ask you, what does Bomb Your Boundaries mean to you?
Bomb Your Boundaries to me means to, I think kick through the fear. And if you really want something and, you see yourself being at that place, you need to pass through obstacles on the way, and that's emailing or messaging that person that you're a little nervous to message. I mean, that can open a door 100%. And I think it's just trusting yourself and doing things that make you a little bit uncomfortable if it's in the direction of your dreams, for sure.
That's perfect.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I would say that too.
Great answer.
Well, so what's next for you? I know obviously we're super hopeful about the performance of the video and everything. Yeah. What's next on deck for you?
Yeah, so we've put out a few songs so far. And there's a few songs that I've cut that are left to still be put out. So right now we're planning on kind of a release plan, whether if we're going to kind of wrap it all into an EP kind of a thing. So either maybe one song's going to come out in the fall, EP come out start of 2020, something like that. Okay. We're still dealing with figuring out the structure, but getting a bunch of shows in the books for this fall. So out of town shows, yeah.
Okay.
So
where the hell can we find
Nice.
you?
You getting in the van?
Yeah, that's right.
Is it doing the van thing?
Yeah.
Oh, hell
yeah, and flying.
I love the van tour, man.
I don't know about that.
Fuck the
Screw
bus.
a tour bus. I want a van.
Oh no.
The van is where the memories happen.
Oh man.
Dude, the 98 Econo line with the ripped like leather Cadillac seats.
You just went.
I did, yeah.
Oh, did you?
That's how we travel, yeah.
The van. Oh man, the van.
Oh man, the
Oh,
van.
man,
Luckily,
the
it's
van.
only like 3-day stints. Talk to me after I've done 2 weeks with that, and
Yeah,
I don't think it would be the same thing.
Ooh. Yeah. So just gonna be playing a bunch of shows this fall, and then looking into spring shows and just getting out there and playing the music, and then meanwhile writing a bunch more and getting more ready to go. So,
hell yeah.
and just kind of building it.
I know we have a
That's awesome.
books.
Yes.
Oh, dude.
It's gonna be good.
I got 9 ideas I got to run by. I have like a little Sarah Ames folder.
Shut
that I
up.
keep.
Are
Yeah.
you kidding? I can't wait.
People, yeah, I do.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Yay.
That is awesome.
Bring the Trulies.
Steve always comes in with good ideas. Most rights
Does have good ideas.
I got to come in, with them, as people mainly look to the artist kind of as the main source of ideas. And it's really, really nice when I write with Steve, because he has just as many, usually more ideas than I do. And I just love it.
Nice.
Well, I appreciate it. Let me ask you about that though, because I'm curious. Like, as the artist, because I've actually never sat in a room like trying to be the artist and had people kind of write with me. Like, when you say you come up with the idea or whatever, like, does it make it harder? Because it's more like you hold tight onto that idea and you want to make sure you get it right, how was that experience for you?
Yeah, it's tough. Well, first of all, it puts pressure on you because you feel as the artist, I mean, you are the source, you are the one that's communicating it. So I get it why people are looking at you for ideas. But sometimes when you're writing a bunch, you're like, geez, please, world, give me an idea right now to bring into this right, because I don't want to be a total deadhead. So, that puts pressure on it. But then also when you have an idea that you really believe in and you think is great, it's like you really want to execute it properly. And so when you go in and you're like, man, it sounds bad, but it's like, do I want to use this idea with these people or not? Yeah. Do I feel like we're going to, get where I want it to be? And sometimes, I don't know if there's anything wrong with trying that idea out with some people, not getting it where you want, and trying the same thing out again with someone else. Is that bad? I don't know.
I don't think that's bad. I think if you're at the 3 or 4 hour mark and you're just kind of thinking to yourself, this isn't landing from me, and just your idea and you're really protecting it, then I think it's okay. I think it's actually okay to walk away from it and be like, that's hard to do, but it's okay to try the same title or ideas with other people. There's nothing wrong with that.
I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with it if you believe in it,
and
you want to get it right,
and
when it's right, and when it's right, then you can go sing it.
That's right.
That's it.
Wait, so forgive me for not knowing this. Are you on a label, or is it just a publishing deal?
No. So I'm not yet. I'm having some conversations, but
cool.
There's been though an agent in town who has really changed the game for me, and his name's Joey Lee, and he's a co-head at WME, and this is just being ballsy on your own. I literally met him not from someone introducing me to him, none of that. I went to a show by myself at 3rd and Lindsley, and it was like an 8:30 show. I didn't want to go, and I just slapped on the makeup, and I went out there, and I sat at this bar next to Joey Lee, who's an agent to artists that I just look up to so much, and we talked, whatever, and then again, I had the guts to go and deliver my music to WME for him to listen to on a CD with a can of chew, because he was chewing when we met, and I just, just those little things, just try to make a difference.
Nice. That's very fucking smart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You knew exactly the chaw he was chawing.
I did. I wanted to make sure it was the right kind, so I actually asked a couple people and tried to figure it out. Some agents that knew him. Yeah, and figured it out.
Okay, honestly, if you take nothing else from that episode, pay attention to that and listen to it over and over and over.
Seriously.
Because paying attention to the details and standing out like that is probably the most important thing you can do.
And,
everything.
He is one of those people that can kind of get me, buy me a seat at really any table in town, but it's up to me then to be able to have the dinner conversation. So it's like, I can call so-and-so and get you a meeting, and I could talk you up, but it's up to you then to keep providing the great music and, win them over. It's not, so he's really opened a lot of doors and created some amazing opportunities for me. And it's been awesome. And then, the other thing that was kind of funny is he has a, he's kind of swears a lot and stuff. And so one time when we were still getting to know each other, I addressed an email to him. It said, "Hey fucker, comma,
nice.
Here's a new song. Thought you would like it." And I just sent it his way. And he, the next day, it was out of endearment, but he couldn't believe that somebody addressed him that way.
Yeah.
And then so he just calling us for, "Can you believe this girl? She's gonna address me. Hey fucker, I like this girl. Like, who is she? Okay, all right, you've won me over." And so that, just having the balls to just kind of do things like that to be remembered. And he still says now, even when he's telling me, we're talking about, contacting maybe so-and-so. And he said, "Hey, don't send just some softy generic email." He's like, "I get that stuff from new artists all the time, and I just don't care. And I don't respond because it's just do something that makes you be remembered, say something." So sometimes you just have to have some guts.
That's that ninja shit. That's that ninja
Stop with
shit.
the guts word,
ninja
but
gut
it's
shit
true.
right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
I've said guts probably 25 times, but
Dude, I'm into
that's
it.
the thing,
I'm
man.
right there
guts,
with you.
hell yeah. dude.
Spill your guts.
Global Guts, you remember
Global
that show?
Guts, fuck yeah, man. Michael
Fucking
Malley.
Do you not remember that show? Are
No.
you too young? God damn it, you're too young.
No, wait, Michael Malley was
No, that was Michael Malley.
That was, yeah, it was Spill Your Guts. Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So let's go with where can people find you online? How do they get in touch with you?
Yes, people can
How
find.
do they buy your shit?
Oh shit! People can find me, obviously on Instagram. My username is just Sarah Ames, SARAH. AMES. Just look me up on Facebook. I'm on there, and Twitter, and I have a website, saraames.com, and obviously all my music's on Spotify and Apple and wherever you listen to music. I think it's there, and I have 3 songs out right now, and I'd really love for you to check them out.
Absolutely, and you definitely should. Sarah,
absolutely,
is amazing. So thank you again so much for your time. This has been fucking awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, seriously,
I love y'all.
I've learned some great stuff from you.
I've loved y'all's clothing and line.
Well, thank you. Well, because you were a
badass.
guest on the BombCast, you can pick out an item of clothing.
Shut up.
Call it a souvenir.
Seriously?
Call
Totally.
it whatever you
We'll-
want. Yeah, anything.
We'll go to
Oh
the
my
basement and
God.
show you the.
Oh my God.
We'll show you the product.
I can't wait.
Yeah. But thank you so much,
It
man.
sounds creepy if you don't know about that, but it's a wide open basement.
It's a wide open
just
basement.
just
It's
a
more
warehouse.
of a warehouse. Yeah. It's
Badass.
I'll take you to the basement and show you the product. That sounds like a luring.
Yeah,
line
come
of
on-
fucking,
come on
like,
down.
Great movie.
It's the
I say
lotion
that
on
to all
our
my
skin.
victims. Thank you so much. I'm so
Thank you,
excited to write
guys.
with you soon.
Yes.
And y'all check Sarah Ames out, man. Sarah Ames, do yourself the favor. She's a rock star, man. You really are. And thank you for all your wonderful advice. I think people are going to get a lot from this episode.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. YouTube that video, her new video, Stoned, immediately. It is really fucking cool and definitely a cool take on the song. In terms of like originality points, 10 out of 11 out of 20, out of 10 for me. Really cool. So again, if you guys got value out of this episode, please rate and review us on iTunes. It really helps. I know it's kind of a pain in the ass, but honestly, it's really not that hard. So if you could, that would be awesome. And please reach out to us via email to let us know what you think. We want to hear more about like how we can bring you more guests like Sarah, or maybe you're looking for other topics that we're not.
No more Sarahs.
No more Sarahs. You're actually our first Sarah.
Or
so-
if you want, or the opposite, if you want only Sarah
Only
from here on
Sarahs?
out, and make
Strictly
her.
Sarah?
Yeah, we're just gonna
Cool.
bring her in on the team, man. It'll be the 3 of us.
I love it.
Reach out to bombersandsleeves@gmail.com. Also, we are getting ready to launch the fall line. It's going to be here October 14th. So pay attention to that. Go to our website, bombersandsleeves.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, sign up for our email list to watch out for the launch for that. Cause, two fall items coming out that, we've taken a lot of time to think about, and, I think they're the shit. So hopefully you guys
fuck
like
yeah,
them
man.
too. Yeah. So pay attention to that. And with that, I think we have wrapped it up. Steve, take us home. What's it?
Thank you again to Sarah Ames, and thank you guys for tuning in. And once again, man, bomb your boundaries, baby.